Hey, and good evening. Here's Tiger. Welcome to my stream. Good evening to you, AJ. CD Radar is here already. Wo ist der Mathelehrer, wenn es kalt ist in der Ecke? Denn da sind es 90 Grad. Wow! Where did he get this joke in German? It says, where is the maths teacher when it is cold? And the answer is, he's sitting in the corner because the corner has 90 degrees. Well, a bit hot for my taste. This joke. Nice to see you, CD Radar. And now I'm trying to get my OBS on screen again. Yes, here it is. Today we will have a bit of an unconventional stream because I have been on the road all week. Been to Köln and made it back again from Köln. Spent a lot of time on a super full ICE train and had a lot of things to do today. So there was no time to prepare any presentation. So what I actually tried to do when I was in Köln, in Cologne, was to look at the signaling at the Köln Hauptbahnhof, what is peculiar in some respects, and I try to find out whether it is actually as peculiar as it is sometimes in the game. You know, when you're driving into Köln main station, you sometimes get signal announcements that are not actually fulfilled, and it looks a bit weird, and there are less signals than you expect them to be. And I wanted to find out, but to spoiler that in advance, I was not able without proper preparation to do that, because it is actually such a mess, the signaling at Köln Hauptbahnhof, if you look at it from just outside and are not able to look into all the schematics and things. I've never seen so many white crosses with black borders that cancel out existing signals that are no longer or not yet in use and in effect as in Köln main station. I took some pictures and I will try to match those pictures with the representation in the game. I had the idea when I was on my way home, so I actually took less pictures probably than I would have taken had I have the idea before. We will see. CD Radar asks, is it mandatory to reserve a seat on the ICE? And Spectre says, hey, good evening, how are things? Spectre, so nice to see you on the stream. Yeah, well, I'm still recovering from my cold, more or less. I'm not really getting rid of it. And I'm recovering from my trip to Köln. And to answer your question with the mandatory, no, you do not need mandatorily to reserve a seat on the ICE. You can do it. It actually costs a little bit more. And until some time ago, when you were booking first class, you would have a complimentary seat reservation, but meanwhile, this is only true for the more expensive rates, I think. Also, it can happen that there will be no places and then you have to stand. Yes, totally, this can happen. I actually had a reservation on my way home, but I got wedged into my window seat, had to keep my luggage between my legs and on my lap, and next to me a huge soldier guy was sitting with his Bundeswehr laptop, and it was quite crammed until we got to Frankfurt airport, and then people left, and then it was actually better. So it will be a half in real life stream, and there are some weird things happening in Köln Hauptbahnhof, and we might want to discuss it. Inspector says there is a famous picture of a well-known Swedish climate activist sitting on the floor. But this was debatable. No, I'm not aware of this. And did she not find a seat in a German ICE train? Well, to be honest, normally you always find a seat, but on rush hour times, peak times, you sometimes don't. Köln main station. And CD Radar says, because with our Pendolinos, which are of the SC Supercity category, reservation of a place is mandatory, and therefore everyone has their place there, and no one argues or stands, and CD Radar thinks this is a good idea. Yeah, why not, right? But I think it is always a cost-saving thingy, and some people want to save the cost for the reservation, or the DB wants to sell the extra buck for the reservation. I don't know. Inspector says DB was criticized heavily on social media, but in the end they said the person in question had a first-class ticket plus reservation. In the case of the Swedish climate activist, well, great. And reservation is in the price of ticket CD Radar for the Pendolinos in the Czech Republic, I gather, right? So this is Köln main station, and the first thing that we might want to look at is this roof here, because that is the first picture that I can present you with, not exactly from this point, but from platform 1, where I was waiting to get on a train to Köln Messe Deutz. About here, more or less, looking at this roof. You can see that they always have those half platforms in between tracks, or sometimes they are there. And now let's see. Super Paul, so great to see you again. CD Radar says marvelous station. Yeah, it is a marvelous station in a way, and what I really like is the connection to the dome and to the Hohenzollernbrücke on the other end. But obviously in real life it is much more dirty, decrepit and stuff. So can you guys see this on the stream or not? Let me know, because I'm not really sure if this is... Thank you, AJ. I was not really able to get a photo application running in OBS, so I had to punch in the pictures more or less as they are, and so they are a bit large for my stream format, so I have to push it around. So this is what this part of the roof actually looks like in real life. I think they got that quite well. This part of the roof that blocks the view is actually a bit higher up in real life, as it seems in the game. So you can see it better than you can see it in the game, actually. And obviously they did not replicate the advertisement for the Eau de Cologne, the Kölnisch Wasser 4711. The radar says quite similar to Prague Hauptbahnhof. Yes. Yes, the 47 one. First I thought there is an advertisement for beer from Cologne, Kölsch, but it is actually for Kölnisch Wasser and not for beer. What is the next thing that I found and that I thought worthy taking a picture of? It was a signal, quite a big signal that you could see when you walked up here, and you can see this signal here at the end with the ZS3 sign on top, but this one is actually not the signal that those trains used to depart. So actually I was waiting for a train coming from this direction, from Köln West or Köln Ehrenfeld, and going into this other direction, because here you get to Köln Messe Deutz, what is the second station in Köln where ICE trains stop, and my train that took me back to Bavaria was actually starting from Köln Messe Deutz, and I just made that trip to Köln Hauptbahnhof to actually see it here. Colin Lafni Nas Nadrasi. So that is the main station Köln, right? Kolin nad Rhinem. Köln am Rhein. And Superpause as reservations are no longer included on DB first class tickets. Yes, at least I had to buy them separately about a month ago. Yes. Yeah, I think for the really expensive versions they are still included. But for the Super Sparpreis and Sparpreisangebote they are no longer. And see the radar, I hate these name changes in languages. That Cologne is Köln and Cologne and everything. Wow. Yeah, what did I want to show here? This signal, a really big signal, and it is here on this track that we just saw, taking us out, maybe even a bit further down the platform. At least you can see that there is a big exit signal before you actually get to this signal that we have in the game with the 3 indicator on top. And this is one peculiarity that you have in Cologne main station, that you have some signals that do not have the proper spacing between them, but like Halbregelabstand, so that sometimes the signals switch off with Kennlicht. And from what I saw, you can see that this main signal here has the HP2 configuration, green over yellow, with an VR0 with the marker light for reduced braking distance, and also the 3 indicator. And then quite soon there is the next main signal afterwards, and they often switch this signal here off with a marker light so that the train was actually able to pass it. Yeah. But here in this case probably the train would be routed. No, it was actually, if you look at the switch, it was routed towards this signal here. And this signal here, this 012 signal, is totally not here in the game, for example. It's not that important because we cannot go into that direction anyway, but this makes it always difficult if you want to understand the signaling sequence in a station, if signals are not represented, if they are missing. And what is also missing are a lot of those Zugdeckungssignale on the tracks in Köln, where they have this funny system. We will get to this later a bit, with like 6 or 7 Zugdeckungssignale on one track, so that you can use them for draw ahead signaling. One train can come into the platform track when the other track is actually leaving, a thing that is not done so often with Zugdeckungssignalen. Usually they only use them for cutting long platforms into 2 or 3 segments, but here on the S-Bahn tracks that we see on the other end of the station, this is done actually, not here in the game, but in real life I have witnessed it happening. In here is the dome, you can see it from platform 1, and this looks actually quite close to what it looks in real life. I've taken a picture of that, I think. So this is more or less the view from platform 1 to the dome and the stairs in front of the dome. Now, obviously the scaffolding is not there, and the stairs are built in this pyramid style, and not just like you have it in the game with some stairs downwards, and here no stairs at all. But in general this is done quite properly, I think. Here on the right you can see the station building proper. So it's, if you look at this on all the tracks here, track number 1, it would be to the left in real life. So also if you step down the stairs, you'd have a lot of shops and stuff here in those passages, and here, instead of running into this wall, you would get into the station building proper with the glass wall where you can step out into the city and towards the dome, what you obviously can't do in the game here. The passage looks like Cologne after the zombie apocalypse, Spectre. Yes, that's the point. Obviously, they cannot simulate everything and show everything, but nevertheless, it's quite nice. I walked up this part here, and around here there is actually like an installations where all the DB staff and crew members can go to rest or whatever. It looks a bit like, almost like a beer garden where all the drivers check in to have an hour of rest or whatever. And unfortunately, I did not take a picture of this track here because there are two Rheingold cars sitting. Rheingold passenger cars were the high-end passenger coaches. Like, how long will it be? In the last century, at any rate, to Bundesbahnzeiten, there was high-end first class, and they almost have like a golden sheen on their screens, on their window panes. So you cannot really look into it, but that's quite sweet. They are sitting here on this track instead of this blue 363. But I also was not able to witness if there are trains started into this direction with the combination of HP0 and SH1. What we sometimes see if we play services that start here at Köln. Spectres Frankfurt has been done nicely with some shops. Yes, that's the thing. Well, yeah, I have to admit, Köln, Schnellfahrstrecke Köln is quite an oldish DLC. It was one of the core routes and trains in World 2. So the newer stations are obviously much more elaborately depicted with when it comes to assets like storefronts and dioramas with people having a coffee and stuff. So let me just check what my next image is actually. Ah yeah, that was something that was happening over there when I was waiting for my RRX, my Rhein-Ruhr Express to Köln Deutz, Messe Deutz. I was somewhere around here, I guess. A quite big and elaborate pane where you can switch all the announcements and platform signals. Tonbandwarnung means pre-recorded warning, and you had those monitors. They can actually, as a platform crew, see what is happening. This is direction to Deutz, would be in front of us. This is direction to BBF. That is obviously the depot that we have in the other direction. Never seen something like this on a platform where everyone can be. And I don't know if this is used at all anymore. You can see those switches where you need to have this Vierkant key to operate them. And at least in former times they were used to switch signals for closing doors, train getting ready for departure and stuff like this. And speaking of that, they obviously had to install some precautions that nobody who is not authorized to stand there and look at the screens and operate this stuff. So they did this. just to make sure that nobody unauthorized looks at the screens. That is very secure, right? Then in connection with that, they have some interesting signals at the platforms, like those bars. See, the rail says, I guess nobody in Germany dare to step there. Yes, you saw I took one step back and took my picture from behind this marker. Does anyone know what that means? This triangle that is illuminated here? I'm not exactly sure. So on the left you can see the Fahrtanzeiger. That shows you that the exit signal is on go. This would be the Fahrtanzeiger for the opposite direction. So if you're looking backwards from your cab, telling you that the Fahrtanzeiger is on go. Then the one in the middle with the triangle that was actually illuminated when I took this picture. Yeah, thank you, YouTube commentators, the CD radar. So if someone knows that, let us know. Maybe this is some draw ahead signal allowing the train drivers to actually draw their trains ahead to the next red signal. I don't know. Because the trains that were coming in on this platform were stopping at different positions. Yeah, the next one here, that looks like a 6 on a die. I'm totally not sure what that means. There is a closing doors signal that would only be one of those bars, and with more dots. That is in the rules. And maybe this is for closing doors if you only use one of them. That one that looks like a 3 on a die could be used for brake tests, like illuminating the top light. Apply brakes, illuminating the lower lights, will be release brakes, and illuminating all 3 lights could give the signals for brakes are working. So to communicate to the driver what to do for brake testing, possibly. Don't know if that is actually the point here, but maybe. Spectre says, good question. I only know that track 1 in Cologne used to be quite special. I think it is, but it is not the only track that has this bar of signaling possibilities. They are on other tracks as well. I just took this picture on platform 1, but they are on other tracks as well. And Spectre says, a lot of regional trains had Cologne Deutz as their terminus, and they could drive from Hauptbahnhof to Deutz wherever there was a free slot on the bridge. Ah, I see. Well, actually, when I was there was a special chaos because there was an emergency situation between Köln Ehrenfeld and Düren. You know, that is our route here in the game, Ehrenfeld and Düren, and I actually thought that I might be able to do a trip on our Schnellfahrstrecke here from Köln Hauptbahnhof towards, not towards Aachen, that would be a bit long on the regional trains, but at least to Köln Ehrenfeld, to have a look at Köln Ehrenfeld and on this big node where you travel through. But because of this emergency situation, the line was blocked, and that caused some chaos because all the trains coming from Deutz had to return to Deutz and could not go on towards Ehrenfeld and Düren, and well, that caused a lot of confusion. A lot of people on the platforms. Luckily, nobody got pushed onto the tracks. Like I don't know if you saw that, but like 10 days ago, a guy was pushed on the platform and run over by a train here on platform 4 or 5 in Köln main station. It's insane that this, or things like this, can still happen. In the year 2024, he was, as the news said, unintentionally pushed off the platform when he was running, and in front of an ICE train, fell on the tracks, was run over dead. But they're still investigating. Luckily this did not happen when I was there, but the line to Ehrenfeld was blocked anyway, so I don't know what I saw on platform 1 happening is what happens there typically. What is my next picture? Next picture that I have is one of those typical Zugdeckungssignale. Here it's the 014 signal showing HP0. So please DTG, in West Germany we have 2 lights on the smaller signals, even on the Sperrsignal 2 red lights, not only 1, we're not in the east. And you can see this miniature mast sign telling me that this is a main signal, even if it is a very small one. And if you look at it closely, I don't know if you can see that on the stream, you can see that it has only one possibility to show a white light, so for Kennlicht, so that you can switch it off by Kennlicht, this signal, and it is not possible to show SH1, SH1, like on shunting signals, the 2 white lights in diagonal fashion. And still in the game here we don't really find a lot of Zugdeckungssignale here. They are totally missing from the ICE tracks in the middle. Obviously this I was not able to do when I was there in Cologne, running over the tracks and looking at things. But here on the S-Bahn tracks, well, this train is just blocking my view. What is here most impressive is not that thingy that actually lives there in real life. Forgotten what it is, some art or musical or whatever, that the musical dome, right? It's the Spectre. Here you can actually see that they switched off the signal by Kennlicht. But this is happening here on the track where no trains are running. And what you can see here obviously is that you have a lot of signals dividing those S-Bahn tracks. And this is where they have in real life, at least nowadays, Zugdeckungssignale, where you can have one train entering the station while the other one is leaving the station, Nachfahren or draw ahead signals. So what we have seen on London Underground in Queen's Park, there are actually signals that just go to Kennlicht, and there is only then one red signal in between separating the trains on the same track. And here in the game, another train coming over me, those are Schutzsignale that switch between HP0 and SH1. And it might actually be what was the situation when this DLC was crafted, because what is happening here now? Oh, this is the... I go to my next picture here, and here you can see this is more or less the same track looking towards Köln Hbf, and now you have this long row of Zugdeckungssignale. You can see this one here, just one white light for Kennlicht, and then I cannot really increase the view here, but all those signals that have this yellow circle around them are Zugdeckungssignale, train cover signals that switch to Kennlicht if there is a train coming in. And the last one behind the train can show then a red light to secure this track for the next train coming after. But what you can also see in those blue circles is that there are actually signals that can switch between SH1 and HP0, but they are crossed out with those white crosses that tell you that the signal is no longer valid. So it looks like it was actually switched from Schutzsignale to Zugdeckungssignale. At what time this happened, I cannot tell you. But this adds to the confusion that is happening here in Cologne main station, signal-wise, and what makes it difficult to just by walking around on the station to find out what the signaling is actually supposed to be. Here is one of those Zugdeckungssignale, a bit bigger, showing the Kennlicht, and you can see that here the spot where the second white lamp would be is blocked out. It is not used, so it is not possible to show SH1 on those signals. Are there more pictures? I guess not many more. The one, yeah, there is more or less an overview. Again, the dome in the background, this time not from platform 1, but from... What happened here in the game? Where did I end up now? Interesting. The stuck button does not apply to going on foot. What propelled me under the roof here? Well, I cannot move anymore. And you cannot see it because I have the picture on. Yeah. See, somehow I got propelled under the roof, and now I'm hanging from the roof and cannot go on anymore. Maybe some passing passengers kicked me up into the air, and now I can see the S-Bahn trains from high up above. But cannot go back to the position where the picture was taken. But it was about here. You can see that I was outside of those roofs with the dome in the background. What we cannot really see is that there are still many more signals that are crossed out. And especially if you look from the station proper towards the Hohenzollernbrücke, that would be... Well, I cannot show it anymore. Oh! I fell down. That's good. I can move again. So my position when I took this last photo was more or less on the platform 10. Looking over there, you can see there's the dome in the background. And here, especially looking from here towards Hohenzollernbrücke, there was a lot of signaling hanging about that was crossed out with white crosses to make those signals invalid. Every second signal, more or less. So this would be a task for a whole day, I guess, to find out what signaling is there actually at work. Yeah. Well, that's it. Next time I will check out the station. I will probably take more pictures to be able to do this more thoroughly. Yeah, let me know if that is something that you want to see more often with different stations that I happen to get to, especially here in Germany, but because that is more or less what I can reach. And then I will do it. I find it quite interesting because some things are really stunningly the way they are in real life, and others are not. And the signaling is sometimes a bit confusing. And I think if you're driving into Köln main station here in the game, you always wonder why you are getting the announcement of a reduction to 2, for example. That is the typical one. You get a ZS3V, the yellow 2, when driving into Köln main station, and you don't know why you're getting it, and this is because the Zugdeckungssignal, that is probably the reason for you being slowed down with a 2 indicator, is not there at all. AJ says, yes, this is something I want to see more often. Did you say that? CD Radar says, let's visit all major trains in world stations. Well, yeah, why not? At Frankfurt Main, I also happened to be on my way home, but I did not get off the train. I was preparing for a rapid drop in FPS when we were crossing the bridge. But surprisingly, in real life, the FPS rate did not drop at all. Spectre says, Boston, New York, Penn. Nice, yes. I'm afraid my Deutschland ticket will not take me to Boston. But I can try. Yeah, maybe. If I find someone to invite me to get there for a lecture, then I will go to New York as well, not only to Köln. Yeah, real life has a great optimization, so you don't get any FPS drops. So what are we going to drive? Something in Köln, from Köln, starting in Köln or driving to Köln? Any suggestions from the new journeys timetable? A lot of red boxes to choose from. Arriving in Köln, says AJ, alright. We can do that. And what vehicle are we supposed to take? RE with the 110. Alright. T-Racers 101 old school. 101 is only one service from what I've seen. And that has happening at night. So I would prefer one during the day. So, the 110. Is there any chance? They are all going to Aachen, eh? No, there are also some that go to Köln. I was just wondering where they are going. But they are all going to Aachen. Only this one in the morning that was going to Köln. Is that so? Yeah, looks like it, right? It's only Hamm West. Then we have to take this one. But then we don't go in November, or we will have no light. And let's... The other direction is cab car, yes. So let's go to June with foggy, or can it be misty? And let's take misty. I'm still not quite sure what the difference between foggy and misty actually is. But we will see. We will have the weather dynamic, maybe it will clear up. And then let's drive the RE1 to Hamm West. Westfahlen, right? Or is it Hamm West Hauptbahnhof? No, I don't think it's short for Westfahlen. That's funny because I actually talked to someone from Hamm during my trip to Köln. Alright, let's find out if we can get the old school 110 started again. AG says, did you notice on your text it still says trains in world 4 instead of 5? Oh, yes, I did not notice it. Ham as in Schinken? No. The funny thing is, actually, I fixed my caption before the stream. and fixed it from 3 to 4, but that obviously did not do the trick properly. Now it is. I'm actually already losing count of the version numbers. It's just happening too fast. And it's not Hamm in Schinken, but it is with a double M. And this is a city in Niedersachsen, I think, right? No, Hamm in Westfalen is. This guy that I was talking to was from Hamm in Niedersachsen. That is Hamm in Westfalen. That makes sense that they put it there. Spectre, tell me, you usually know stuff like this. This is a different Hamm than the Hamm in Niedersachsen that I know. Or is it not? No, it is not in Niedersachsen. The one that I know. Well, confusing. If you look from the south of Germany to the north, you always get confused. Everyone wants to live in Hamm, Westfalen. It is. Well, if it is in Westfalen, then it is probably not Rhine-Westfalen and not in Niedersachsen. So much geography I understand as well. Well, we're not even picking up passengers here, right? So we're just starting right away. That means we have to go through our setup without passengers. PZB, RZB, SIFA. Steuerventil weiter hoch. Yeah, that is okay. Can we switch on lights already? Air compressor protection, RCB, tralala, all slip protections, and yeah, we will have LCP on the 110, right? Still, we cannot go 250, I'm afraid, with this machine. Oh, that's the dynamic brake. I wanted the loco brake to hold us in place when we're releasing the brakes. So where are my light? Where's my light switch? Signal lights normal. Instruments. Do we have lights on? No, no loco. It looks not entirely sure whether we have lights or not. In this lighting, it is hard to say. I think that service is only in the loco to Aachen and then in the cab to Köln. Oh. Maybe. And we are probably not able to do it. Well, let's see if that works anyway. So, at the moment we are still going from the Abstellung, I guess, because this is what it looks like here. It goes through in this loco Aachen up, and it was just the first station. Well, then we will just do it. How fast can we go? 40. What being most probably a Rangierfahrt and not having a clear track announced, we should limit ourselves to 25. And we are in no rush, as it seems. Well, I have to check this when we're at the platform, whether we have lights on or if there is more to switch, if there is a dedicated light switch. Also have to get a feeling for the brakes on this train. There is no 1A and 1 beat, but only a minimum. I'm not entirely sure if that was okay with the lights. They look off. Thermofach, we don't need Thermofach. Signalleuchte, driver's side on. Well, apparently it is on. I don't know if there are any 110 still in service anywhere in Germany, but the 111 is actually still quite a common sight. How are you doing in the first class? So we're leaving the station with 40. Erste class, and only change is the color of the seats. The Sigurator says, well. On the Dostos, it does not really pay to go first class, I think. Here's your drive-by, AJ. Quite a long train. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Dostos. Is that correct? Yes. The city elephant. You're welcome. For New Year's Eve we will probably pass Aachen, AJ, when we are hiding in Belgium. So how long is my train? 200 meters. Hiding but telling on the internet. Well, we're hiding because of the dogs, right? Since technically we don't need to hide because of Chile anymore, but still to get the dogs out of the New Year's Eve fireworks and stuff. Inspector loves Belgian French fries. Oh yeah, they are really good. Did you see how much time we have to arrive in Aachen Rote Erde? Actually, no point in accelerating beyond the 40. We could almost carry our train from Aachen Hauptbahnhof to Rote Erde in this time. That is a nice SIFA sound, huh? Was that not SIFA? I thought it was SIFA. This beep. At least it stopped when I... Ah, yeah, you're right. That was the door thingy. Yes, you're right, guys. I'm always falling for this when I have not driven this local in quite some time. It is the door release. Türfreigabe, what the Taurus tells you on the Semmeringbahn. And AJ knew it. And I really did do this. And yes, I bought the Semmeringbahn, and we will have more Austrian signaling next week, I guess, or at least more Austrian stuff. I was thinking about doing Bremshundertstel in Austria. How they calculate Bremshundertstel in Austria. If I manage to understand it when reading rules, then I will present it on the stream. Spectre says, well, they calculate them differently or just with an accent? Well, they calculate them quite similarly, but they convert them differently into maximum speeds from what I've seen. The procedure is a bit different. It is not so thoroughly connected with the 1000 meter Bremswegabstand or the regular braking distance that you have on your line. Because from what I understand, you can have different braking distances on the same line in Austria, but don't quote me on that yet. We'll have to verify a lot. At least the Bremstaff and the brake tables look a bit differently in Austria. And I think they have it in the Eisenbahnbau- und Betriebsordnung, the brake tables and the way how to calculate. I'm quite sure somebody ran across the tracks, so just in case anyone asks what justified the use of the horn. So at this point there is a missing indication for 100, I guess. You get the 130. LF7 sign here. So we can accelerate towards that, but we cannot go faster than 140, what is our inherent maximum authorized speed for this locomotive. So, switching up our tap changer. In case you're wondering about the technology that is in this kind of locomotives with a tap changer running through different taps on the transformer for using, yeah, I guess they are Reihenschlussmotoren or something like this, the traction engines or traction motors that we have in this locomotive. They use alternating current but work not very differently than the direct current driving motors that we discussed on the old underground trains. What is that, city radar? You're indicating that I am advertising my own stuff. That is even with correct coloring. And what is it I cannot see? The Schwebebahn emote. Oh, I see. So, we are in a 140 track. The signal speed limit of 120 has expired, probably. We should transfer at Köln to Wuppertal. Maybe we should do that. So then we can have the Schwebebahn in Wuppertal. Stolberg we are supposed to stop. We're not supposed to stop here at this station. And now we only have 3 minutes for 4.3 kilometers. Seems like we had more time to get from Aachen main station to Rote Erde than we have from Rote Erde to Stolberg. Stolberg im Rheinland, that is Rheinland. Yeah. And see, the radar is building Schwebebahn trains. So we have reached our altitude. Actually going too fast already. Got to slow that down a bit. By means of the electric brake. The work. Poster. A flying Wuppermann. Reduction to 12 incoming. It's not the CFA sound, AJ. It's not the CFA sound. Trust the guys. Is this just telling us that it is now safe to open the doors? Well, maybe not safe, but at any rate, now they are no longer blocked. Yeah, after all, we have enough time. It was actually proper timing for this trip. Inspector says I have great hopes for the new timetable on Schnellfahrstrecke Köln Aachen Flix train, more long distance trains, and hopefully some 642 AI trains at Stolberg and Langerwehe. Yeah, and I always love it when they are actually providing new stuff for the existing routes. That's the thing, if you apply the brakes so hard so that the train does not roll away, then you have to wait until you can start it. It is safe to open the doors. Well, but if you look at old movies and videos, then people are actually opening the doors when the train is still rolling at the platform and jumping out of the rolling train. That actually was obviously considered a proper thing to do at the time. Eschweiler, we are bound to go and stop. With a limit of 11 in between. Well, this little locomotive has to lean in properly, I think, to get those 7 dostos on the move. Or 6 dostos on the move, right? Yeah, 6 dostos. With what do we have? 388.1 tons. Most of it Fleischgewicht. Here's the limit to 11. No, we are late in Eschweiler. And every time this sound plays, my left pinky hits the CFAR button. Can't do anything against it. Well, actually the platform is too short for a train. If we stop at this stop position here, well, but I stopped where the game told me to stop, and it was the one marked 210, and we are actually not longer than 210. So something does not work out. Langerwehe. Good job, game. Yes. Stopping here would actually fix it. We are back at 140 soonish, right? Yeah. Still in 110. But as soon as we are out of interlocking, it's like here starts the 160, that means 140 for us. We are rocking, boingy, boingy, boingy. Disused station here. Misty weather works well with this DLC, I think. Oh, we have to slow down. To 80. so the PCB does not get us. And then stay at 80. The nice thing on the Dostos in real life, if you're standing in the entrance area, you can actually see a gauge typically that tells you the seat pressure, the pressure in the brake cylinder on this particular car. So you can actually monitor how the driver is using the train brake. Let's see if the stopping position is better. This time we can actually go up until the proper H sign. Well, I still think they did a very good job with the model of this 110. So next stop is already Düren. And then we are already in the S-Bahn area. Talent from the other direction. Inspector says, how do you assess whether you can add power on the 11 or whatever it will blow out the main switch, the 110? Well, I always look at this effort meter here, and if I'm too much in the red, then it is getting dangerous. From what I've seen, it is quite forgiving, at least in the game. If you want to make sure, then you should always keep this effort meter in the non-red section. But I guess when accelerating for a limited duration, you can also go into the red. But if you go beyond 40, 50, what is that, kilonewtons of effort, then you might not want to do this forever. But all in all, it is not so easy actually to pop the main switch here. And Simrail with the older locomotives there, it is much easier. Yeah, Spectre says thanks, that's what I used to do as well, but acceleration is rather slow then, yeah. So that's what I mean. When you're accelerating for a limited time, you can... What is happening now? What we just saw was our locomotive limiting us because we were exceeding our built-in maximum speed of 140. And we got a lot of indicators lighting up, G and S and even Befehl 40 for whatever reason. Now we are in LZB, but we still can't go faster than 140. And now the G indicator is lighting up to slow us down. Well, interesting. That was worth seeing it. You can even see this red marker here for the V Sol, since we're approaching a limit to 80 under LZB for the stop at Düren. Then a limit to 100 past the switch probably. Now we have to stop anyway. I think we take the switch now. And even when pushing our locomotive to its limits speed-wise, we still are late. Düren, that's the station with the turntable. I'm still not sure whether we have lights on or not. But I guess we have. Approximately 2 minutes late. Spectre, did you see how the effort meter jumps deep into the red if you switch too much power in the really early phase of acceleration, while as soon as you are traveling with 30-40, it's much more forgiving, so you can switch on more power much faster. Trusty little 110 soldier. Anyways, oh no, what did you say? CD radar. What did we do to annoy you? Inexplainably, the B indicator extinguished, see? It's only the U indicator that is on, but not the B indicator. What is, at least for me, surprising. So, now this is the long stretch, the part where the ICE can really go fast, and where the regional trains and the S-Bahn, well, the S-Bahn has some stops in between, I guess. But we just have to go for 18 kilometers from Düren to Horrem. Sticking to 140. I don't know if we have some sticker here on this locomotive that tells us for how long we can actually go into the higher regions of traction effort. The older American diesel electric locomotives typically have a quite specific matrix for how many amperes we can go for an unlimited duration, and how many amperes we can go for 2 hours, 1 hour, half an hour, 10 minutes, or something like this. Maybe somewhere we have a diagram of that kind hidden on this locomotive as well. Whether it is actually prototypical that this locomotive always lights up those indicators. Trafoschutz, E-Bremse, FM Lüfter, Ladegerät. I'm not entirely sure. 100 incoming. But it's not really great to read this indicator here, or in what distance we have to expect the 100. It's probably a greater distance because the V sol is not really shrinking. Haven't seen my favorite Skyhook loco today, says Spectre. Well, since I do not own this DLC, you're pretty safe, I guess, in my stream. Lucky. Yes. Well, looks like I slowed it down prematurely. Ah, now we can see it incoming. Yeah. It's still 3,000 meters to the change. And we're badly late. We should already be at Horrem. Now the G lamp lights up. We can see it on the signal, and we are approaching a 100. Here's the 100. According to the signal, not for the LZB. Since we're running under LZB, we can actually ignore the signal. Still funny that it does not comply, does not agree. Thinking about it, says Spectre. DGG could have the 628 run between Cologne and Horrem. In real life, they then switch to the Erftbahn to Düsseldorf there. I see. So there's actually a lot of potential on this route. Yes. Horrendously late we are. And we again managed to stop with one car, not at the platform. Even though we stopped where the game told us to. So I hope for you guys that I managed to mute my microphone before I went into a sneezing fit. And I hope you don't know what I'm talking about. Here is a ill-advised marker light, or additional light. So, Köln Ehrenfeld is already the next one. What is the penultimate stop? Since we are not stopping at Hansaring. That is for the S-Bahn only. To some an outlaw, to more a hero, to all a legend. So who might CD Radar be talking about? Train wants to go faster than 140, so we cannot allow this. Brake isolated has to work quite hard. Now we're getting a stop indication on the LCD. But we're not getting an indication beyond the 4,000 meters here. Right. Two and a half. Well, that is Köln Ehrenfeld, 2.5. We have to stop there anyway. Since we're running under LCB, we don't need to acknowledge. So be prepared to stop at the next signal anyway. So, Köln Ehrenfeld. As I mentioned before, this is where I actually planned to go, but couldn't, because the line was blocked. 70 incoming. If we're not running under LZB, we have to acknowledge. But for some reason those indicators extinguished. Does that mean the locomotive is now warm enough? End procedure for the LZB and end procedure for AJ as well. I'm off to bed, guys. Thanks for the changes. Yes, have a nice night, AJ. Here's the 70 that was announced. N60 is announced on the LZB still to come in soonish. VR2 signal and the LF6 for the 60. Bahnhof to the left. Now it's 40 that is announced. Quite short notice. Probably at the signal. Safe to open the doors. LZB is off. We are back into PZB, hitting our 1000 Hertz because of the VR2, and the HP2 is limiting us to 40. And we can already see the dome. Doesn't even tell us at what platform we are supposed to stop. From the way we're coming in, it can also be platform 1. Here's our second HP2. No, we're not going to platform 1 because we're going to the left now. Or anyway, maybe we can still end up in platform 1. No, we cannot. We can only go to platform 3. But maybe it's 4 if I'm not mistaken. 2 or 3? No, 3. And here we are, finally. Ladies and gentlemen, Köln Hauptbahnhof. Thank you for traveling with DB Regio. We hope you will come again at the earliest convenience. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Even with a bit of delay, we made it. Without so much speeding. Here we actually got some speeding, but we did not get docked for it because the game at this point here does not punish us for going beyond our maximum authorized speed. I've realized that on the Semmeringbahn we also get docked after 1000 Hertz monitoring came into place. It's almost impossible not to be over speed limit under 1000 Hertz monitoring. That is a bit weird, and I hope that they will fix this at some point because the scoring system sucks balls, in my opinion. Spectre says, nice, the passengers now have suitcases and stuff. Cool detail. Totally. That is something that I really like. The passengers are really good now, in my opinion. With all their stuff that they are carrying around, with their phones, with the poses that they sometimes strike. And they're sometimes sitting on installations and interacting with each other, especially on the newer routes. That is definitely a huge improvement if you compare that with the passenger behavior after the rush hour routes where passengers were hyped so much. Definitely. Okay, guys, I think that was it for today. Let me know whether you like this new format or not, with comparing real life with the implementation in the game, and if I should aim on doing this more often. This thing here I did not visit. Actually, this is quite a nice platform for having a nice view on the Rhine. What you can't see here is this Ferris wheel that they have there next to their collapsed Stadtarchiv. They are still trying to get out of the floor, out of the ground. Here's the donkey, in case anyone wondered. Well, yeah. I think I will conclude the stream here with the Hohenzollernbrücke and this S-Bahn train going towards Köln-Messe-Deutz. See you again next week, most probably in Austria with the Semmeringbahn. Take care and enjoy the week.